For sure.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy Hitchcock with the Jimmy Hitchcock podcast called Post, Poast, the real truth, TRT. I'm here with Darrin Ashford, and I'm here with Marcus Wall, and this is the Post podcast with Jimmy Hitchcock, and we're here to talk a little bit more about the Belichick hire, as well as talking about the players and what's in store for 2025. And the whole thing with the hire of Belichick is that we're going to be on a national stage at all times. We're gonna get the notoriety, and we're going to get the publicity like Dion got. Believe it or not,
Right.
Belichick's going to bring a lot of attention to our program, and I want to talk about that in the beginning because that's going to be a big difference in what has been in the past. I mean, we had the team. Sometimes we got up in the top 10 and sometimes top 5, and we had a lot of notoriety. Got a lot of notoriety. ESPN was there. Game Day was there for a bunch of games and back in the past. But now we're going to get a lot of notoriety. How do y'all think it'll affect the guys, and how's the atmosphere going to be at the Hill? Go, Mark.
For me, I think that success only breeds success, and they'll be taught how to handle it as they go. So I don't think it's anything negative to go along with it. The thing that they have to remember is with success is also pressure. And to be able to handle that pressure and to take it to the next level is really what matters, because we only play to really win championships. You don't play just to say, oh, we had a winning season. Those days are far gone, far behind us at this point. So, we play to win championships, and hopefully that's what they brought Belichick in for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I mean, to piggyback on that, like, it's now taking over the era from Matt Brown, who we all know and love, but now bringing the culture back, the mad dog mentality where, losing is not an option. When we played under that era in the 90s, that if you lost, you had to run. We ran, you didn't get the steak and lobster. You didn't have the steak and lobster meals. You had to eat hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the culture of that and the accountability amongst players. Now, we all held each other accountable. And I think that's gotten lost a lot with these players now with the accolades coming out of high school. We all had it, but they're getting now revenue from it. And some of these young men are hard to coach because some of these coaches feel they can't speak to these young men because of the fact they may not want to come back and they worry about their jobs as coaches. So Belichick's going to bring a whole different mindset because he's a no nonsense type of guy. He's going to instill accountability. He's going to hold coaches accountable as well as players. And you guys who play for him understand that. So I'm looking forward to the change, bringing that culture back. And I think the name alone demands the respect out the gate because people know the Belichick way.
Yes, exactly. That's well said. Well said. Mark, the thing that if I would have been in this era, I don't know how distracting that NIL money would be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had actual money to take people out and go to nice restaurants and drive a fancy car and things like that. I mean, I don't know how that money would affect me. I don't think that it would have affected me had I played in this era. I think I would have been able to kind of put everything in perspective and still had that dog in me, to make it to the next level. But that NIL money in these different situations with the transfers and everybody's going in and out of the portal and back and forth, it kind of makes me feel as if people need to kind of get it together on the rule situation. Talk some about that. Walt.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example for me, right? I feel like whenever I was at Carolina, I was a damn good receiver, like by far. And for us, it was about knowing that you were only going to get maybe 3 touches a game, maybe.
Right.
And when you get it, it's your job to put it in the box. It doesn't matter whether it's a hitch, a fade, a post, or a slant. The route does not matter.
Right.
You got to put it in the box. That's the only way you go, because you ain't getting many opportunities, whether you drop it or you catch it.
Right. It's your opportunity lost.
I probably would have got, that's right. I probably would have gotten to the portal knowing that, hey, they throwing the ball. Listen, they got wings on the football over there.
That's right. Right.
So, it's one of those things where it fits, but I don't know if I would have really wanted to leave the bond that we had either.
Right.
Because even after college, listening to other guys in locker rooms and, just conversations, their bond was nowhere close like ours. They're not as close as we are. Right. They can't rely on each other the way that we can.
Right.
So, that bond to me was priceless. And really, as a high school player, that's part of my reason for going to Carolina. When I had Natron and Julius Reese as my host.
Right.
And just their bond, and bringing me in and showing me around. I took my visit when school was out.
Right.
Nobody was even on campus.
Right.
Oh, man.
So you can only imagine the good time I had just being around brothers and enjoying the brotherhood. Right. And it ain't even the full capacity of everybody. It's just a piece here and there.
Right.
Right.
So, that alone is what attracted me. But then to go to that NIL portion, I don't know. Cause listen, they getting changed where they sling it. They sling it around now. They getting changed. So I feel like if I can make this happen with 2 and 3, just imagine if I'm getting 10 to 12.
Right. I'm the same way. Like
I'm getting 10 to 12.
Right. Breeze, what's up?
Man, I mean, Wall hit it nail on the head. I mean, you said like we all came out being the best of where we came from. Being from Chicago and going that far away. Stano and Bucky was my host. Stano being my high school
Buck was your host?
Yes.
Okay.
But I had Stano. That's my high school quarterback. So he pretty much, whatever he said was gospel because I trusted him because we had that bond in high school. So when all the other schools were there, Stano was calling me like every week after every game. Hey man, I heard you had 300 yards this game. So that made me feel wanted. So when I came up to visit Chapel Hill, it was, I want to say I came, it was in spring. So I came around February, March, and I got to meet, Corey, but Bucky was my host and Stano, but school's in. So I enjoyed the hell out of myself, but
I bet you did.
Bruh. That's a whole other conversation
during the spring.
That's a whole nother story. we ain't gonna talk about that one.
Exactly. But with this money, my struggle was in the Wall. I talked to Wall on several occasions since over the last 30 years. And mine was more of a mental struggle because I couldn't understand what was happening. I'm one of the fastest guys you have. You're using me, but you're not using me. I was more of a decoy. Like you said, a lot of people don't know, but I actually sat down and talked to Spurrier when I ran track, when we all went down to the fan relays wall, when we was all running indoor at the time. And I sat down with Coach Tootin, and he took me down to Spurrier, and Spurrier was like, come on, I remember you in high school. But then Coach, Greg came in and said, hey man, we're going to change the offense up. We're going to do this, do that. We're going to get more touches. So like you said, if I know that money was back then, I'd be like, I hear y'all talking, but I know Florida's throwing that rock regardless.
Right.
Ain't no we change the system. Yeah.
They ain't gonna talk about it. Yeah,
ain't no talk.
They're gonna throw
exactly. So it was man, having just coming out of high school and knowing that my freshman year, I'm gonna have at least 6 figures or 5 figures in the bank. I mean, that's life changing for me being an inner city kid from the west side of Chicago. And just me and my mom's just trying to make it happen. So that's life-changing revenue. And then you have a different type of hunger, just a taste of it. So be able to go to a program like that, throws the rock, like you're saying, Wall, to get more touches and be utilized to the full capability somehow. Like with Belichick, they were talking about him today, like with Edelman. He kept his job because they used his skill everywhere possible. Defense, punt return. I think like that's kind of what you want as a player, being a a speed guy to be able to be utilized. So if you can make that money, I mean, it's sad the brotherhood won't be there for a lot of these kids because we had that 40-year commitment we talk about. Because I've talked to Wall on several occasions, and Pete Perez and Boyd, we talk on the phone, and Fuzzy and was it ET every now and then, but that relationship, these kids don't have it. They don't have it. I got kids coming back from college now, and I'm sitting down talking to them. They have already transferred midway through the first semester, and they transferring in December. I'm like,
see, that's the one thing that I just can't imagine, because I went 5 years. I got redshirted, and I had 5 years with the dudes that I was in the locker room with. Natron, he left early. He was good enough to jump to the next level in his junior year, but most of all the other guys were there, and we all kind of went through it together. 5 years of it, 2 different strength trainers, 2 really tough ones, and that kind of built us. That kind of made us stronger, And the failures that I had, because we had great athletes in front of me, Thomas Smith, Rondell Jones, Racy Walker, all of them played pro ball. So guys were just in front of me that were just better, at the time. And I had to sit back and wait and watch them. And that hunger just kind of just fueled me, you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's bad or good. I'm not going to say if it's good or bad, but I just think that sometimes these guys need to experience a little bit of failure to actually sharpen them, just that knife sharpening, you know what I mean? That spear sharpening, to go through the fire to actually get sharpened for what's coming next in life as well as the football field.
Right.
I have a question for you though, Hitch, because you have a very great point, right? Mm-hmm. All those guys before you end up going to the league.
Right.
What if someone was in front of you that you felt wasn't there? Because I know you felt, even though they were there, I'm still better than them.
Right.
But the proof was in the pudding that they moved to that next level, right?
Right.
So what if it was somebody in front of you just no, not that dude.
Right.
That would have been a different type of,
that would have been a whole different scenario. And then that did happen. They put someone in front of me again, even though I was better. But you know how I was. Once they put me in, he got hurt, and then they put me in. Once they put me in, I had a good game. We were playing Wake Forest. I had a really good game, and on the next practice, I just ran out there. It was supposed to be his job, and they was calling him out there. But I ran out there and wouldn't leave. I'd be like, "Nah, this is mine now, bro." But I had to. It was, what I'm saying. That's exactly how it happened. I was like, "This is mine now, bro." I mean, we're gonna have to scrap for you to get me before I leave this spot right here, because it's mine now. You know what I'm saying? So it was that type of situation. But had I been in a situation where I went 3 years of looking at somebody that was terrible, I would have jumped in the portal. You know what I'm saying? If I would have been able to jump in the portal, I would have probably jumped in the portal. So I can understand where you're coming from with that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. So, but this is another thing that, and I listen to Tom.
So
Brady
I think it's positive and negatives to both sides of it, really.
Right. It's two sides of that coin. When you put it like that, you know what I'm saying? When you put it like that, as far as, hey, what if a guy was trash that was in front of you? You know what I'm saying? And you had to watch that. I'd have jumped in the portal.
Yeah. That's a whole different ball game. You're right.
Whole different ball game. But it would have been, just like you said, it would have been very difficult to leave my boys, because, I had a bunch of boys there, especially like Riddick Parker and John Bradley and Tim Smith. And, I just had some dogs, some boys, Malcolm Marshall.
Oh, man.
That would tell me the truth and be right in your face. Hey, you ain't about nothing. You ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Get it together.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
He made a big
Stop
time
tripping
point.
and get to work.
Stop
I
tripping.
mean,
Yeah.
and I
Get
think that's
to
why we
work.
were so good.
You ain't going hard enough.
Right. And
So,
I think
yeah.
that's what these kids are missing.
Mm-hmm. But Tom Brady was speaking to some dude the other day, and he was saying some similar things about the failure aspect of it. Going through the fire through failure. And what are y'all's thoughts about the failure aspect of it? Does it sharpen you, or sometimes does it make you want to quit type of thing?
Well, I'm gonna touch on it. I mean, I think it builds you because you're only gonna learn if you fail. You have to fail to know where I need to improve. And as an athlete, if we're constantly told everything is good, the moment we do hit that brick wall and we can't figure it out, do we crash out and burn, or do we figure it out? And a lot of these young athletes, I truly don't think it's a handful of them that really can figure it out and say, okay, I've been through the fire. I know this is gonna be tough, but I'm gonna be okay. But then you have the other half that, like we were saying earlier, like they can't handle it because they've never been put in that situation either through AAU basketball or 7-on-7 or whatever, or club sport they're doing. A lot of these kids are coddled by their program because they're so talented. But when they get to college, everyone's good. And that's when I think a lot of these kids struggle. Like, I don't even know who you are, but you're a dog. And they're like, yeah, you don't have to be a 4 or 5 star to be a dog. I think actually the real dogs are the 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3 star or the no stars.
Yeah, they got
because they've always had to prove themselves and fight. Like you said, they got that fight in them, and they don't care that you're a 5 star. They ready to line up across from you and put their hands in the dirt and just give you and go balls wall. You gotta be like, hey, coach, hey, chill out. Take it. Coach got to tell you to chill out because you want to prove. And I think that's that you have to fail. You truly have to fail at anything you do to realize that that's the only way I'm gonna get better. Because if I don't, I'm just gonna keep living this false narrative.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm getting that feed too. Sometimes it's like
the problem is, I've been saying this for quite some time. Oh, okay. The problem is, and I've been saying this for a long time, the participation trophy has ruined everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The participation trophy has ruined everything. It should be against the law.
Exactly.
To have a participation trophy in anything dealing with competitive sports.
Right. You should start in the kindergarten like we started, giving out blue ribbons, red ribbons, and white ribbons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. First, second, third. You see what I'm saying?
But now everybody gets something. Yeah. Everybody gets something now. It doesn't matter. Whether your team wins or your team loses, they're finding ways for everybody to get something. Right. No. What you got is the work. That's what you got. Yes. Now either you get a trophy or you don't.
Right. Well, let's check this out. Sometimes I go speak to these kids, and I start off with this right here. I say, how many people in here are winners? Guess what happens? Everybody raised their hands. Everybody.
The participation trophy, my friend.
That's it. I said, what makes you a winner? I'm just a winner. That's all. I said, so what makes a winner? What makes a winner? If you had to just kind of summarize what a winner is, what is a winner? And they have no idea that the hard work makes a winner. They really think a lot of times that it just comes to them because it's given to them all the way up until the high school. Some things are placed on them. Hey, you're a winner, bro. Here's the participation trophy. Here you go. You won this one. You participated, so you win. You don't have the right to call yourself a winner unless you do the work. Right. And that's what I don't understand.
And you have to win when it's time to compete.
That's right. You have to win.
You can have done a great job. You can have done a great job. You could have competed well. You could have gave your all. but there's a winner and there's a loser to that.
Right.
And you don't win in that losing moment.
That's
You just
right.
don't.
That's right. In the time when it's time to rise and it's time to show who's like like Tom Brady. When it's in the clutch, it's time to rise. It's time to show what you got. The true winners are gonna just rise to the top like the cream of the crop. So Breeze, what do you
Correct.
think? What do you think about the participation trophy aspect of what's going on these days?
Trash. It's trash. Like I said, I see a lot of middle school and high school kids, and then kids that come back from college. And I've always kept it transparent. I tell the parents, I tell the kids that, I'm here to build you and tell you the truth. If you're trying to play the next level, don't worry about those little attaboy. The attaboy ain't gonna help. And I try and keep it. I keep it 100 with them. And I think I have more girls that come through the lab. They get it. They truly like my girl volleyball player, man. They're locked. They're like machines. The boys, on the other hand, because of the narrative, because of social media, they're looking for that quick gratification because of what's being put out there every week. You could be on JV and you got a mixtape, and they like, oh, he cold, and they're like, oh, he only on JV. How's that even possible for him to be? You think,
got
oh, he got all,
he got highlights. Oh wow.
Yeah, and they talking about, hey, yeah, he the best 8th grader. I'm like, in the country, how you know? Because he like, I'm
Right.
confused.
Because
I'm
of
like, I
that,
understand.
because of that little mixtape.
Correct.
And I get where you want to help your kid because as a parent, you're seeing the narrative happen in front of your eyes, and you're saying, okay, I got to put something out so people can see him. But saying you're the best, you ain't win against, but nobody in your area. And even then, it don't hold no weight. It's 8th grade, bro. You may never grow another inch. Or to the female, that females is a little different beast, but the boys is crazy because I see it. And I had a parent come to me and had me watch a kid. And I ain't gonna say his name, but they writing up about this kid like he the savior. And I'm like, what kid? The kid came to my lab, only showed up one day and couldn't last. I said they got to be jokes, but that's when you start realizing it's money. These parents, no disrespect, honestly, you want to help your kid, but you're gonna hurt your kid more than help. And these writers, these people who call us up analysts in your local area,
Don't
they're
get me
writing up.
started.
They're writing up on these kids. And I say, if you're gonna be a true writer, write about everybody. Because in college, they gonna tell you good and your bad, no matter who you are.
Right.
They're not gonna cover that brand because they're afraid that they're not gonna get that money on the side from mom and dad because I'm supposed to write something good about your kid. And your kid just got busted last week, but it's not consistent. But everyone else see it. But when you say it, we being real because we've all walked in those shoes. We get the fact that you can't keep putting this band-aid over what's really going on because this kid's gonna get exposed and they're hurting these kids and they're gonna crash out and burn or start having the mental health is real, but these more kids are having it because of the false narrative, because of those attaboy trophies.
That's a lot. That's deep. That's one word right there. You spoke on that.
I think that's what's causing the issue. And it's true that it is more mental than it is than we went through because we didn't have the social media. But if I'm writing about John Boy down the street and John Boy 5'2", but you saying he the great savior and I'm 6'8", and I ain't got a scholarship to offer, I'm trying to figure it out. So my mental as a kid, I ain't weak. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And as a parent, you're trying to help your kid understand. Don't worry about that. But how can you tell them to worry about when they got this in their hand? They can flip, and see all these, like I said, mixtapes. And I ain't saying nothing wrong with it, but some of the stuff is just is bad, and that's where it comes. That Data Boy Trophy, man, it starts with all that. Look, the elementary school, middle school is getting bad, and then these club sports, that's a whole nother ball game because some of those are becoming money grabs. Because when we play, you had to be him or her to make a select team.
Name for yourself,
if you didn't make it that year. You got to get back to the drawing board. You back on the blacktop. You back on the football field. You out there running, trying to get ready for the next season, hoping you make it. But everybody, it's like a liquor store. Everybody got a club team. I'm like, what team you play for? So you're like, who they play at? And I know a kid want to get on the floor, but it's like, man, okay. And I think that's what's causing the problem. And I'm sorry.
Well, speak on that a little bit. Well,
Let me do this first, just because I may forget, right?
Okay.
So I coach receivers, and receivers supposed to be prima donnas,
Right.
right?
Right.
So off gate, when I meet with my receivers, they come out to practice. What a ugly boy! What a ugly boy!
Yeah, right away.
So the whole
Break them
point
down.
is right
Yeah,
away,
right
because
away.
I want to see where your mental is at.
Right.
If you freaking out because I simply called you ugly,
Right. You
then
ain't
now we
strong.
got a lot more to work with.
You ain't got no
You get
strong
it, right?
mentality. Yeah.
So the ones that be like, man, that you must be talking about you. Oh, dog, you listen,
Now
look
you're
at
good.
me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
I
good.
know where I'm at. I
Right.
gauge it, right? But by
Right.
the end of the year hit, everybody talking, what an ugly boy. They call me Cole. What an ugly boy. You know what I mean? I'm like, hold
Right.
up. Now you
Yeah.
understand what it is.
That's what it's supposed to
And
be. Yeah.
so that whole point is just to see where you at. And I
Right.
don't change it throughout the year. That's how we greet each other.
Right.
And eventually everybody on the same page. And now they call their teammate, what an ugly boy. What you know what I mean? It's just,
Right. Right.
so
Right.
trying to build it.
Building the
And with
mentality.
all that being said, is man, that whole participation trophy, that play just because you're part of it, right?
You
It
want.
is ruining sports.
It is.
It's ruining sports. There's
It's
been the favoritism of size and because somebody is faster than and those types of things, right?
right.
And we already know there are some elephants that just don't make it in the herd.
That's right.
Just like there are some gazelles that are left
They're
behind
gonna
because
get
they
that.
cannot make it.
Right.
It just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And those that are dominant normally rise to the top. And that's my mentality. Like, you have to be able to work this thing to your favor. You don't have to be the best athlete to be successful in this realm.
Right.
You just have to have a mindset to be able to dominate. And when it's your turn, you take advantage of it and you give that guy in front of you everything you've got for 4 quarters. And if it go to overtime, how many other overtimes it go, you got to be able to deliver it every time. Because I say all the time, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Facts.
Beautiful.
And so if you're out working a guy, dog, I wasn't a big person and still ain't a big person.
Right.
But I was strong and I worked and I was not afraid to go in there and get it.
I agree.
And so I try to instill that into my group and then the other kids that gravitate around me. Like, no, dog, this is not a sport for just vacation.
Yeah.
You can go vacation and play this on the beach. That's vacation. Right. Here, we using this to change our stars.
Right.
And if you ain't changing your stars, then you're probably not going to be a part, because you can change your stars even if you don't make it to the next level in this, because you built a brotherhood, a bond. Right. And you never know, hey man, I need a job. You know somebody? Yeah, dog, let me call my boy. Right. That community is built there.
Right. Like we have.
But with that participation trophy, correct.
Yeah, we have one of
that
participation. I think we have one of the strongest points. That participation trophy, I agree, is something that needs to be just crushed. They need to start crushing that right now. We need to build the next wave of competitors, the next generation of competitors, because there's some soft and some weaknesses in these generations. The last two generations, some softness and some weaknesses there. But there are some dogs. There are some dogs that are out there, and some of the cream is rising to the top, and you've seen it. But I also want to say or ask the question of you guys, and this is one for the kids that's listening. What do you think are the best intangibles? Okay, intangibles that a kid in high school could have. And intangibles being, smart, listening, good character, the intangibles for the high school player. What do you think are the most important? Darrin.
I guess I'm just thinking about that. the number one for me to be able to take criticism. Because a lot of these young athletes struggle with being told what they are not capable of doing at that moment, because they've been told by other programs that they're this or that. So being able to take criticism is probably the top of my thing, because if they can take criticism, you can then mold that young athlete to be pretty much one of the best out there. Because
being able to take the coaching.
Yeah, you got to do it. And most of these kids, I tell you, you say something to them, they're like, man, whatever, bro. All right, bro. I'm like, I ain't your bro. You know,
right?
Don't do me that. Don't do me that.
Right,
man.
Can't do that.
Don't do me that.
You can't do that.
You play with your mom and daddy. Don't play with me. Don't do me that.
Yeah.
Boy, you want to
speak on the wall. What's the intangible? What's the most important that a child could have, or a kid could have at that age in the high schools coming into the college ranks?
I think it's versatility and hard work. Because coming up, those that have played Little League may have been in a position at that age that they were just that dominant kid. Maybe they were a bigger kid or just a faster kid. And that may not translate when you get to high school and college. Right. So you have to be versatile enough to say, all right, wherever you put me, that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to make this work.
Make it work.
You know, but the key would be the hard work of it all. You know, everybody wants to do the highlights like we were talking about. Right. You made 2 plays out of 12 games. Right. And you got them 2 plays looping.
Different angles.
Right. Yeah, you done changed the angle. You done dim the lights on it.
You done hit it from 5 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the reality is, it's really 2 plays. Right. And if a coach comes in the building, they're going to ask for more film.
Give me what.
If a coach is really interested, he's going to ask the other coaches in the conference that you faced.
Right.
So if your highlight really ain't adding up,
right,
it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
So that hard work will help you be able to keep that endurance, that ability to really thrive and go after it.
Absolutely.
But that bruh now, listen, I don't play them bruhs.
Right.
my kids know. Don't hit me with that. No. We don't do that. No.
Yeah, that's disrespectful. That's highly disrespectful.
You'll see something totally different. That's right.
It's a different human being, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I deal with some kids, and a lot of times they call Jimmy. Jimmy. Who you talking to? Oh, what?
Right.
Yeah, it's totally different these days. I'm talking about 11 years old, bro. 10, 11.
Nah.
Jimmy.
Nah.
They call me Jimmy. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, but let's go on to another subject. I'm 2 or 3 more things, and we're gonna end the podcast. But this is kind of I'm kind of worried about the high school kids coming out, because now you don't have to really recruit in high school. You can get people out that portal, and it's going to like really condense the scholarships going out to seniors around the programs. You know what I mean? So, and then I just saw recently that they just made a new law or a new policy that allows people to go to JUCO for 2 years, and that don't count towards your 4 years, in college.
I'm with that.
I'm with that too. That's a good one. That's actually a pretty good one. But the only thing is, are you going to get in that JUCO and still be in limbo? Because are you getting enough film? Are you getting the right coaching? You're at the JUCO level. And I've had a thought about that also, but I'm saying, like, how do you think the 12th graders or the guys coming out of high school will be affected by having so many people ahead of them, because you're going to get more years. Like if that guy goes to JUCO, he'd take those 2 years and then he goes another 4 years. That dude's going to be 22, 23, 24 years old. So you're going to have these guys that's going to be playing like some men playing with boys. And the coaches are going to be like, well, he's not mature enough body-wise. I can't take this kid. I can't take this kid and develop him because he's not going to be able to catch up to such and such. That's just my thoughts. What do y'all think about that?
You want to go on this first wall or what?
No, you go. I go behind you. You're good.
Man. So we're going to touch on that. I got a ton of kids that's actually going through that right now at the JUCO. For them, it's benefits. They'd be 21, 22 coming out. So they're going to physically change the game. Yeah. They're grown. But it's kids that are in college right now, like we see it now, where these high school kids, if you're not in the top, I'm gonna say now, you used to be the top 10. If you're not the top 5% in your class, probably in your region, you might as well go and chalk it up. You may start looking at the Power 4 and Power 5 may not be your route. Just because of that. It was a guy I was listening to the other day out the Southland Conference, and he said he spoke on Coastal Carolina was big. I'm gonna go to get these kids out of high school. He got his butt whooped all year, and the following year he went to the portal. He went to the JUCO because 17
he went down. So he went down to the JUCO.
Yeah, he was just getting out of high school, and he said, "I'm gonna get these high school kids out." That season he got whooped, and the following year he was like, "No, I'm going to the JUCOs and I'm going to the portal." Because I understood why he was like, "Give these kids a chance," but when your competition, 21-year-old going to 17-year-old, I don't care if you're 6 or not, that's still 21-year-old grown adult. I don't, and I've seen either enough plays that I know exactly what's going to happen compared to you 17, and you ain't seen this level of competition enough time to know that they're trying to set you up. So the dynamic of the game, the mentality side is going to hinder some of these kids, but I think it's going to force these kids to get that dog in them, because now they're saying, "Oh, as a coach, we can say, hey, you're not worried about the kid in your region. Go look at the college you want to go to. Go look at the kid at the JUCO in your position, in your local area. Look what he or she is doing, and then ask yourself, am I doing enough to beat them out? Because that's your competition. It's no longer the guy or girl in your region. It's that guy or girl in that portal, the guy or girl in that JUCO school. Are you good enough to be who job you taking?"
Right.
And I don't
some
think
of them dudes gonna have families. Yeah, some of them dudes gonna have families.
So they looking at they're looking at a totally different beast.
Yeah, they're looking at it totally different.
So yeah,
and you talking. This is how I sometimes compare it. Like, I'd look at it like this: like, you got a 17-year-old going in, an 18-year-old going into college, and you got a 22-year-old in your locker room. If they were to get in a fight, even if they weigh the same, even if they weigh the same, you know what I'm saying, and they are the same size, that 22-year-old is going to whoop the dog crap out of that 17, 18-year-old.
Most likely.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Unless you got a straight warrior, coming from the projects warrior. You know what I'm saying? So it's very likely that guy can really physically beat him up because he's a man.
Yes.
And you got a child. Really. So that's kind of how I kind of compare it. And it's just making me wonder what this football is going to look like over the next 5, 6, 10 years until they get some of this stuff worked out and straightened out policy-wise. All right. Okay, so that's another thing. The last thing that this will be the last question.
Let me chime in on that real quick.
Chime in on that. Sorry about that, Will.
No, you're good. Okay. I think that this whole process, obviously, we know it's flawed to some degree, right? One, there should be no more COVID years, and kids shouldn't be allowed to stay 6 and 7 years in college.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? It should go back to the 4+1 if that's a red shirt.
Right.
right? It doesn't matter if you transferred 9 times or one time.
Yeah.
It should
Here's
be
what
it,
The
right?
numbers are the numbers.
The numbers are the numbers. I don't think that you should have that 25 and 18 plan. They shouldn't be in that locker room in that instance, because if he's been there those years, it's different if he comes from JUCO.
Right.
It's totally different.
Totally different.
But if he's been in the NCAA program, right?
Right.
Then that should be null and void. Now, Dabo Swinney at Clemson, he still recruits freshmen. Like, that's been his mantra. He's not doing a lot with the portal. He is going after freshmen. But again, you can't compare that program with Coastal's program.
Exactly.
That's correct.
They're totally different. He's going to be able to get the upper echelon of freshmen, whereas Coastal may get one.
Right.
You get those top athletes that can compete still.
Correct. That still can compete, at least to some degree, whereas at Coastal, you may only get one that can compete in that level or magnitude of things.
Right.
So I think that the NCAA needs to make some type of incentives for schools that take a certain amount of freshmen and walk them through their program.
Exactly.
If they're able to get through their program without, any transferring and that type of stuff, I think they should be rewarded for those.
Yeah. I'm with you on that, Wall, because you got some of these kids out here dominating. I mean, they dominate and still getting just a breeze, not even that full-fledged courting, that taking them on these trips all throughout the nation. That's not gonna be happening as much anymore,
Correct.
And that experience that we had flying all across the nation. We ain't never been, some of us never been on a plane before.
Hawaii.
Yeah, you went to Hawaii. Right. You went to Hawaii. So that whole process is gonna be slowed down or just completely nullified for the high school freshman. High school senior going to be a freshman. So it's kind of concerning. It's just a different take on what football is in this day and age. In this day and age where we have a lot of kind of people that think they're entitled to things. And then you have the entitlement from that side. They think they're going to make it, right? They think they're going to do this and that because they got these clips and they got these mixtapes, right? But then it's like that cold shoulder's coming. As soon as they graduate, that cold shoulder, or as soon as the season over, that cold shoulder's coming, and they're going to be a little bit disappointed, man. And I feel bad for them. I feel bad about that. Talk about that. Talk about what the expectations should be, how they should go about things, how the realistic side of it needs to come into play in their thinking process.
All right, for me, I tell kids all the time, right? We're standing outside. I say, look up at the sky. I said, what do you see? Like, clouds, coach. Like, why are we looking up? Everybody under this sky that you can see and cannot see is trying to get one of those two spots available.
Absolutely.
Facts.
That's right.
So if you're not doing your absolute best, the spot that you're trying to get may not be available because there's guys that's outworking you to get this spot. You may have the gift, but they're working.
Absolutely. Amen. They're working to do it. So
they are working. So if you're sitting here and you prima donna and you feeling like, hey, I did this in the game last week. Why you did this is somebody that tripled it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, that's great. That's great, great word. What you say about that, Dash?
Yeah, man, I piggyback. Me and Wall had the conversation about a year ago with similar things and talking about that. And I tell the kids all the time that when we came up, we had the newspaper. So I would go, me as being a receiver from the Midwest, I would go look at the paper and look at numbers.
Right.
What did he do this week? Because if I'm at number 5, what number 4, 3, 2, and 1 do? Because you're trying to chase that top spot. These kids nowadays have no clue what the kid down the street is doing other than the mixtape. I'm like, no, the hell with the mixtape.
Right.
Go look at numbers. If you're a hooper, what the numbers are they putting? Go find their stats. And if you're a football player, stats. That's gonna tell you what you need to do on paper, because that I think that's what these kids are missing. They don't know how to look these things up to know what they're chasing. They're just chasing the hype right now. They're not chasing understanding that I don't have to be the biggest. Like Wall said, my work ethic is going to get me over the hump, because if I'm, like I said, that 1, 2, and 3 star or no star is constantly working, because he or she understands that I have so much against me because no one's talking about me. I'm at a 6A school, but we maybe got the worst put together program, or our coach just don't know how to put things in us in front of the right set of eyes. So I now, as a young athlete, have to go out here and constantly work. And if they can figure that out, it's going to change the dynamic. So these kids need to really step back and start looking at what we had to say, like, hey, you have to just the heck with the mixtapes, the heck with get back in the lab, start working.
Right. That's amazing.
They don't, a lot of these kids don't work. And the ones who do work, those are the ones that are frustrated, because they're like, why am I doing all this work and I'm not getting the opportunity? And I know I played that girl or that guy, and I'm like, it's a situation, the circle they're in, and either you're gonna keep pushing, but how long can he tell his kid to keep pushing? Because some kids is gonna say it's not worth the fight no more, because no matter what I have done, they're not talking about me, they're not writing about me, and I'm doing the work. And they always say, well, they will find you. Yeah, but it
they don't.
Like you're right. What if they don't? And right now, the way things are going, if you don't have the social media behind you as a player, or these schools are looking at revenue, they're like, okay, this kid got a big following and he's pretty decent at football or basketball or baseball or volleyball, whatever sport it may be. They're looking at that's going to bring more social media following to our social media page. That's revenue. These schools are looking like they're playing chess, and these parents and high school coaches.
I didn't even think about that.
They're man.
I didn't think about that.
That's why these kids are.
That's crazy.
It's money, because for them, it's like, if I got a big following, it is me and Wall, but Wall got all the talent, but I got all the following, and yet we're playing the same position. Most schools may say they're looking at money, and the boosters say, hey, that kid got 1 million followers. Those million followers are gonna now follow him at our school. That's money on our school
That's
page.
real. That's real. Because me and Wall was just talking about it before you got on, about the twin girls that's making like 1.6 million a year basketball.
Oh yeah, the Miami girls.
Yeah, the Cavern something.
Yeah,
like
Cavern.
That.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, they have millions of followers, and they have like endorsements out the wazoo already, and they like making like $1 million a year. Yeah. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, jeez. Right. and that's why I've been telling my kids in the lab, I was like, look, what you do on social media, build your brand. But I said, now don't go crazy, but understand that everything you do, if you go to the store and you like a certain drink, while you doing you on there doing stuff with your TikToks or whatever, have it in a video, because you just don't know if you do it enough, they may see it, because you got 40,000. Okay, then that school sees it, and then you're a good athlete. We get the bang for the buck, and then you're a good student. I mean, all that plays into it, but that's how it's money now. Everything's money driven, and with the social media technology,
it's always
it's always been there, but now it's like it's crazy. It's out the line like now.
Yeah. Let me add one thing if I can. I think that support groups matter the most in these situations, right? Because a lot of time these kids have, in our minds, what would be a decent game. But in real time, to outsiders that don't really know it to detail, he had the best game of the world. There's nobody who did anything better, right? For instance, I'll use my own personal situation. My mom and my oldest sister, they were my absolute biggest fans.
Right.
But they were my worst critics.
Right.
Listen,
yeah.
If I had
a cousin like that.
Man, listen, but it made me so much better, and I didn't even realize it, because the thing about it was just like, I may have 250 rushing on 18.
Yeah.
But if I fumbled the ball, or they felt like I got ran down because somebody had an angle, listen, that whole week was miserable. It doesn't matter.
Right.
We eating. You let that boy walk you down.
Right.
You let him walk you down. Nobody even knows his name. Fumble the ball.
Right.
And the thing about it was, it helped me develop thick skin.
Right.
Yeah.
It helped me understand. Now, trust me, they're cheering every moment. Every moment.
Right.
Everybody can hear him but me. Player be like, man, you hear your people? No, I don't hear him, because I'm focused in this. Like, that's not what I hear. But dog, listen, if I had fumbled the ball, take him out. Right. Coach, take him out. He ain't ready.
Yeah, the support system must be critical.
3 in the box.
Man.
I done put 3 in the box. 3 in the box. I got 2 and some change. And it's only halftime of the third quarter. Take him out, coach. He ain't ready.
Yeah, they get tough out.
But now, if somebody else in the stand says something, hold on now. You don't say, I got this. You don't say nothing. You don't say that. And that's how they were.
Yeah.
But it helped build my mental that,
absolutely.
Dog, listen.
Absolutely.
You face
your
whatever.
Support system definitely has to have some criticism there that you can
take. And that criticism has to be genuine.
It has to be
right?
genuine. It has to be genuine. And it's not contrived and not fake, trying to make you feel bad, but real genuine criticism to make you get better.
And that's what I tell my kids. I tell them this. Well, I use other words, but I'm gonna say, you don't toot your own horn. You let everybody else do that.
I 100% agree.
When you start tooting your own horn, you run out of wind, and there's nothing else for you to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay, this is the last. I said that was the last one, but actually, this is. I just kind of saw something on college sports where they're thinking about. Well, I think it's in the works as we're speaking about these college sports. They're going to start putting together billionaires with college sports. They're going to buy into half of the team, right? So they're going to revenue share with the billionaires. This is what's being said. So essentially, there's going to be owners in the college sports. What do y'all think about that?
It really is already owners, Hitch.
Right, it is already owners.
It's just not
it's the board.
legal in the sense, right? You understand? Right. Well, not even the board. See, the thing about it is the board don't exist without the donors.
Without the donors, yeah. The donors on the board. The donors on the board. Yeah.
Correct. And the thing about it is the millionaires with the private planes and all the extra. Right. That's not really on campus. It's outside of campus.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like they already do, because if I'm a donor and I'm giving this big bread and I'm allowing y'all to fly my plane to go see a kid and stuff like that, when I'm upset, guess what that do? That stop.
Right.
I pose a threat. Listen, I'm not giving. I'm not donating to this right now.
Get that coach out of here. You can't.
Correct. My plane is tired.
Right.
My plane is tired.
Right.
Exactly.
So now you saying, well, look, we're gonna have to get rid of so and so because look, his pockets just said they on hold.
Right.
And his plane tired. So we gotta make sure it gets some energy. We got to get rid of red, blue, and something because
This about to be
he got to
crazy.
go.
This about to be crazy, ain't it?
So
Man.
really, it's already there. Now it's just going to be official.
Yeah, it's going to be officially crazy.
There it is. Can't nobody get in trouble for it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's
all it is. Yeah, it's going to be
but
interesting.
the only thing about it, Darrin, is do you not think they need some rules to this thing? Because like at least the NFL, they got a cap. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
Coming. It's
they
coming.
Got a salary cap.
It's going to be a cap, but it's going to be a nice one. It's going to be a nice one.
It's coming.
Think about it.
Okay.
We talking about. I'm in Texas.
Right.
We talking about the Longhorns, bruh.
Yes, sir.
A&M, bruh. They already giving out Lambos.
We're talking about the oil tycoons out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They already driving Lambos. Bruh,
I probably would have left y'all boys in
Chapel. Yeah, I'd have to jump in that portal.
Bruh.
I'd have to jump straight to Texas.
Man. And I mean, these kids, bruh, wow. I'm like, one of my son's friends, he got $2 million out of high school, ain't thrown in college ball. He gets to A&M and he's doing his thing. Then he gets hurt. Now he just jumped in the portal.
Arch Manning made $3.7 million. He
getting a snap. Yeah. He getting a snap here and there.
Best paid job in college sports.
Man, Texas.
His job is better than Sarkisian's job.
That's like 60% of the NFL yearly salary. I mean, come
exactly.
on. Crazy,
so I'm just saying. So it's gonna have to be some rules to this. Right. But those big schools like Texas, A&M, Michigan, Ohio State, USC, Carolina, the Dukes, the ones who have like those type of them doctors and lawyers and them politicians that came out of those programs.
Big bread,
they about to start donating like crazy, and because it's a write-off for them. Yeah. So it's a win-win on the business side of it. It's about to be crazy.
I think Belichick's gonna be the right guy for it. I think that it's going to be a big stage over the next year or so. I'm looking forward to it, man.
But, I think they're gonna come out this season and just shock everybody because
I think it's gonna be a good year too. I really do. Because I'm gonna tell you, the guy is incredible in scheme.
Mm-hmm. And I think just the players, the mentality.
Yeah, that's what we gotta get. Somebody in that weight room.
That weight room, get in shape. And the thing is Belichick's he's gonna be on top of all of that. You don't have to worry about that. Yep. But the biggest thing is the hitting, the tackling in our secondary for the last few years has been. I don't want to talk bad on nobody, but it's not been up to par. It hasn't been up to snuff. And one thing that we as Rude Boys, when we were there, we prided ourselves in tackling. And knocking folks out. We had overcame Walker. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, shit, you. I used to knock some heads. In practice, I used to hear you running. What is that? He come hit you. Dude, I'm out of bounds, dog. I'm out of bounds. Go ahead. I'm out of bounds, bro. Chill.
Yeah. One thing they told me, one thing that I try to do is Coach Johnson used to say, full speed to the ball. Full speed to the ball. And I used to say, he's never going to call me out on that film that I was low ever.
Right.
Never. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So I took it serious. Like, he's never going to call me out on that film for
Coach T.
Just think, we had many fights in practice too.
Yeah.
Many.
Right. Yeah.
On that goal line in the practice.
Yeah.
What? And don't let you.
I got in a fight with a defensive player one time. I mean, crazy. Yeah.
I remember running a scout team and Coach Tober told me, y'all better catch Ashford on that sideline. I'm running outside, I put feet, I'm out of bounds. Pow, 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 pow. I'm like, bro. He's here running the ball. I'm out of bounds, bro. I'm out of bounds. Y'all tripping. Coach Tober was crazy. And then Coach T talking about bring your feet. Bring your feet.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Like, dude, we got a Coach T, we got about Ash, Breeze. I'm out of bounds, bro. They got to run to the ball. But that's what made us good.
Yeah. Yep. I remember like it yesterday, man.
Good old time.
But anyway, guys, I gotta have you two back.
For sure.
We talk about some more as it goes on. As we start to sign people, as we start to get people to come into the building, some coming out of transfer portal, portal, some coming just straight from high school. We're going to be able to talk about some of these picks. Y'all do some research. Let's do some research, figure out what these guys are about, see what we got coming in. I think it's going to be a great year. This is Jimmy Hitchcock.
They need to get that kid, DeAndre Nance, from 71st High School.
Yeah.
They need to get him. They need to get him.
Yes.
He's an athlete. He's been to the state championship twice in football, one in basketball. Started all 4 years as an athlete. Bill, go get him.
Go get him.
Go get him. He's
DeAndre
a dog.
Nance. He's an all-around athlete.
Yes.
Play whatever. All right.
He's a winner.
Jimmy Hitchcock, Post TRT. We out.
Peace.
That was great, man. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, man, I enjoyed it. I
enjoyed it too. That was
man,
great.
We got to make this happen. I mean, this is something we can do if you want to, man. We're trying to figure it out, man, because my son was excited about it. I enjoyed this, man, just to chop it up because I've been trying to do this out here. And these dudes out here, man, they funny, man. They weird.
They don't want to do it.
They make every excuse under the sun.
Well, we definitely have you on a lot. I thought it was going to be me and ET, but I think it's going to be me and Wall at the end of it. So, we're going to need you on.
I did this with Wall about 2 years ago. Wall, I was trying to get it going.
Yeah,
UNC, and I was talking to these kids in the beginning of all this COVID stuff, trying to talk to these players. Like I did my girls the other day. One is at Davidson, the other was at Syracuse. Their first years, and I was like, you got to tell these